Hi, welcome to Booking Through Life. I'm Mary, and today we're going to talk the Enola Holmes series. Look at this stack. And I just found out that in September there was a new Enola Holmes. So I haven't read that, so I'm very excited. Was very excited to hear that news. And the reason why I am talking about Enola Holmes, I was going to say Enola Holmes today, is that on November 4th, the second Enola Holmes movie will be debuting on Netflix, and I'm very excited. It's been 2 years, so I'm going to watch it for sure, and I'm super excited that it's finally premiering. And I just wanted to share that if you haven't read the series, it's so much fun. So I'll just say that the Netflix series stars Millie Bobby Brown. She's from Stranger Things, if you did not know. And Henry Cavill, who is quite the heartthrob, although he's way too young for me. He's about the same age as my son. So, yeah, it's a fun series. And like I said, the first one came out in 2020, and now finally we get to see what's up with Enola Holmes. So I can't wait. So the book series was written by Nancy Springer. She's an American author. She's about 74 years of age, and she grew up on mystery, sci-fi, fantasy, and Victorian literature. I'm filming this on, I think it's the 29th today. Yeah, it's the 29th of October today. So we're still in the midst of Victober. So it kind of made me wonder, I wonder if Nancy Springer is out there celebrating Victober. Who knows? But she has written about 56, maybe now 57 books. And much like the genre that she enjoyed reading, she writes mystery, science fiction, fantasy, a lot of young adult lit, although she writes from middle grade to, she also has some adult books. I'd say the Enola Holmes series is middle grade. And I have read this whole series except for the latest one. I read her series called Rowan Hood, about the daughter of Robin Hood, and there's 5 books in that series, and they were quite good. There was one that I thought was kind of meh, whatever sound effect you prefer, but for the most part they were really good. And then I read 2 other books that are kind of spin-off retellings of King Arthur, and one was called I Am Mordred, and the other one was called I Am Morgan Le Fay. And those were quite dark. In fact, I didn't finish I Am Morgan Le Fay because I just didn't really care for the content. And I think they're written for middle grade YA, but if you're interested in those books, especially if you're interested in them for your children, I would read them first and then make a determination if you think that they're a fit for your child. But the other series, Rowan Hood, definitely children would like that book. Just one more thing about Nancy Springer. I think a couple of her books, The Oddling Prince and Grand Ghost, which I have not read either one of those, are, I think they're re-releasing those. So I think as she's becoming, experiencing more popularity again, they're really re-releasing, ooh, that's a tongue twister for me, some of her books. So it might just be a good time for me and maybe for you to check out some more Nancy Springer books. If you have read those books, please comment down below and let me know, because I'd love to hear a little review. The Enola Holmes series is also out in graphic novels, which I have not checked those out yet, but I might. So that's what I know about Nancy Springer. The Enola Holmes series, the book series that I have, let's see when this one was first written. The last one was written in 2010. This one has 2006. And I believe, I didn't research this and know it for a fact, but just on my own reading experience, that this was probably a complete series. And the last book really does sort of wrap up the series. And then she's since written, with the new release, 2.5, because there's a little novella. So she's written 2 more since the movies have come out. And I love these paperbacks. Look at this. The artist is Hugh D Andrade. I'm sure I'm not saying that right, but I will link his his website down below. He has some really cool artwork, a little kind of fantasy genre artwork. I'm going to take a drink of water. I love this kind of no tan or silhouette type artwork. And then each different book in the series is a different color. Isn't that wonderful? And then on the spine you have which book in the series it is. So quite nice. I quite like them. I was very sad when the new books are in hardback and they have a more modern type painting style, and I don't think this is Millie Bobby Brown, but it kind of has a look like Millie Bobby Brown does, although it's not like a book tie-in cover. So all of these first 6 were dedicated to her mom, which I thought was kind of fun because Enola Holmes' mom disappears in the book, and throughout the whole series, she's trying to solve that mystery of what happened to her mom, as she's also solving individual mysteries in each book. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then in these later, newer books, at least the first one is dedicated to a friend and not to her mom at all. So I thought that was interesting. So Enola Holmes, who is she? She's the much younger sister to Sherlock and Mycroft. She was raised by her mom, who was quite unconventional and very unconventionally raised Enola Holmes. Enola Holmes' father died when she was 4. And that was really maybe the first and only time she ever saw Sherlock and Mycroft, because they were much older and already living, I believe, in London at the time and living their own, adult lives. So they didn't really have much interaction with Enola. The mother, Enola, they make a big deal about this in the first book for sure, that it's cryptogram, and it spells alone backwards, although Enola notes that neither Mycroft or Sherlock have that same feature in their names, so she's not quite sure why her mom named her Enola, and alone backwards. There's also a quote from her mom that comes up with Enola quite often, and it is, "You will do very well on your own, Enola." So I think she's trying to raise Enola to be a very strong, independent woman who will not be dependent upon a marriage to survive in the Victorian era. And we find out that theme, and we find out how that plays out throughout the series. Now, I will say that you can read each one of these books on your own. I don't think you would be lost if you just picked up book 4 and started to read it. But there are storylines that develop throughout the whole series, so I would recommend reading it as a whole series. So, Enola's book 1, Enola's mom goes missing, and Enola does not want to be under the guardianship of, my dog's right here moving the camera. So she does not want to be under the guardianship of Mycroft and Sherlock. They want her to go to a girls' school and go to a finishing school so that she can be more of a mainstream Victorian young woman and perhaps attract a nice young man who's a landowner. And she doesn't want to do that. So she runs away to London and becomes involved in the kidnapping of the young Marquess, whose name is Tewkesbury, and the name of the book is The Case of the Missing Marquess. And so she's eluding Sherlock and Mycroft and solving mysteries at the same time. And so that's book one. And then the second book is called The Case of the Left-Handed Lady. And this book, we have Watson shows up in this book. And the woman she's trying to help is named Lady Cicely. She's an artist of sorts, a charcoal artist. Enola feels kind of a connection with her, and she's disappeared, and she's left-handed. And so Enola's on the case trying to find her. And Sherlock is on the case trying to find Enola. And then the next, book 3, is called The Case of the Bizarre Bouquets. And in this book, Watson goes missing, and Sherlock and Enola kind of team up. They help each other to find out what's happened to Watson. And so we begin to see her relationship with Sherlock especially start to develop and grow, hopefully more, that Sherlock will be more sympathetic to the person that Enola wants to be. And then in the fourth book, we have The Case of the Peculiar Pink Fan. And in this book, Lady Cicely's back, and she's kidnapped, and they're trying to make her marry somebody she does not want to marry. So again, Enola Holmes is on the case, and I do believe that she joins forces again with Sherlock in this one here too. And then in the fifth book, it's The Case of the Cryptic Crinoline, and in this one, Enola Holmes's landlady is missing. And so Enola has to find her. And let's see, I wrote out a couple of notes because I forgot a few details. And that was that, I can't find it, but that's that Enola has a couple of different identities. Her landlady thinks her name is I can't remember what it is, but one name. And then Enola sets up a fake kind of detective agency, and she's the so she creates this fake character who's the man who's the detective, but then she's the secretary, and then she has another name as that secretary. So she's kind of juggling identities during these books. So she's on the case trying to find her landlady. And then finally in book 6, we have Mycroft and Sherlock and Enola all kind of coming together to figure out this triple mystery and to determine what really happened to Enola's mom. And like I said, I feel like the series kind of comes to a nice resting point in this book, and they were very good. And then the Enola Holmes movies came out, and Nancy Springer wrote a little novella that you can only get as an ebook, and it's called The Case of the Boy in the Buttons, I believe, and it's about Enola's porter. He's really young, and he works for that detective agency, fake detective agency that she set up, and his name is Jotty. And he is sick one day, and he sends his brother Patty to fill in for him. And Patty is kidnapped or is missing. And so Enola tries to solve that case and find him. And then, so then that was kind of while we were waiting for this book to finish, that book came out, and then the Enola Holmes and the Black Barouche came out in 2021. I was very excited about it, not so excited about the cover's okay, but about the fact that it didn't match the rest of the series. But I'm calling this season 2 because, like I said, I feel like that wrapped up, and then this is kind of a new series. And I couldn't remember much what this book was about. And I was talking to my husband, and he said, "Well, you didn't like that book." And I thought, I don't remember not liking it, but at this point in time in my life, his memory is better than my memory. So I must not have been, maybe my expectation was too high. But so a young woman comes to Sherlock looking for help. Her twin sister they believe is dead, but she feels like she is not. And so Enola ends up taking the case. And the story goes from there. One thing I did like about this, and that I do know I liked about it, is that the prologue was written by Sherlock, and he fills in some events of Enola's life that we didn't get in the series, and that's where you learn that he had the last time he saw her, like he saw her when she was 4 at the funeral, and then it was 10 years later when he sees her again, so he doesn't know much about her. And so that was kind of nice. And then that's it. That's all that I have. And then, like I said, there's the new book, book 2 of this particular Enola Holmes new series that came out in September. And I regardless of what my husband said, I'm going to check it out and see how I get along with it. Maybe I'll reread that, at least that last one, and see what I think. So that's it. Again, the new Enola Holmes movie comes out on November 4th. It might be November 3rd today when you're watching this. I think that's when I'm going to schedule it. So it will be coming out tomorrow. And let me know if you've read the Enola Holmes series, if you liked it, what you thought about it, which one was your favorite, if you've read the new one, if you've read any other Nancy Springer books, I'd love to know. Please feel free to like, and you're always free to follow. And I hope I see you again sometime soon. And I hope all of your books are good books. Until then, be kind to yourself and to one another. And goodbye.